In the scorching heat of a small Texas town, a 7-year-old girl named Emma stood quietly beside her loyal German shepherd, Max, at a local gas station. Max, a dog with a past that was far from ordinary, was never far from Emma's side, offering comfort in the silence that had become her refuge after a heartbreaking tragedy. As Emma stroked his fur, she felt safe. But today, their peaceful moment was about to be shattered. The roar of motorcycles tore through the calm afternoon, rattling the quiet town. 6 bikers, their leather jackets adorned with the menacing Iron Serpent insignia, pulled into the gas station. Leading them was a man known for his ruthless nature, Jack Collins. His eyes narrowed as he took in the scene, Emma and her dog standing by the pumps. His smile was anything but friendly as he approached, his boots echoing with each step. But Max was ready. In an instant, the dog shifted, positioning himself between Emma and the approaching danger. His stance was unwavering, his teeth bared in silent warning. Jack, taken aback for a moment, stopped in his tracks. He was used to intimidating people, but Max wasn't just any dog. He had been trained for combat, had seen the worst of war, and he wasn't afraid to protect the one he loved. What Jack didn't know was that Max wasn't just a pet. He was Emma's protector, her constant companion since the loss of her mother. And today, Max would remind everyone that true strength isn't just about muscle. It's about loyalty, courage, and the unbreakable bond between a girl and her dog. Stay with us as we dive into a story of unexpected heroes, where a child's quiet resilience and a dog's unwavering protection turn the tables on a group of ruthless bikers. Welcome to Acts of Kindness Stories. Don't forget to like, share, and leave a comment below. Let's see how one small town stood united in the face of fear and found strength in each other. At the Miller's fuel stop, a gas station tucked away at the crossroads of a quiet Texas town, Emma and her service dog Max stood in a moment of peace. The day was hot, the air shimmering with heat, but Emma felt calm with Max by her side. He had been more than a dog to her. He was her protector, her constant companion since the devastating car accident that had taken her mother's life. Max had been there for her through the silence, through the nightmares, through the fear. He understood her in ways no one else did. But the peace they shared was about to shatter. The sound of engines, loud and thunderous, echoed from the distance. The roar of motorcycles grew louder as 6 bikers in leather jackets rolled into the gas station, the gleaming chrome of their bikes reflecting the hot Texas sun. Leading the pack was Jack Collins, a towering man with a thick beard, tattoos covering his arms, and an air of menace that could make anyone take a step back. He was the leader of a gang called the Iron Serpents, known for their ruthless tactics and violent methods. Frank Miller, the owner of the gas station, stepped out of the convenience store, wiping his hands on a faded rag. He glanced nervously at the approaching bikers, his weathered face tightening with concern. He called out to Emma, urging her to come inside, but his voice was drowned by the roar of the motorcycles. The bikers circled the pumps, eyeing the station like vultures. Emma, however, stood perfectly still. She knew Max would protect her. Max's posture shifted from relaxed to vigilant in a split second, his ears perking up as he sensed the threat. As the bikers dismounted, Jack Collins locked eyes with Emma. His smile was cold, calculating, with no warmth in it. He moved toward her, boots scraping the pavement with deliberate force. Well, what do we have here?" Jack's voice was low and mocking. He leaned down, looking at Emma and then at Max. "Cute kid. Cuter dog." He reached out as if to pat Emma's head, but before his hand could make contact, Max was already there. With military precision, Max shifted, positioning himself between Emma and the biker. His teeth bared in a silent warning. Jack froze, his hand still hovering, but he didn't dare make another move. He snarled, "Your mutt has an attitude problem," dropping his hand to the knife at his belt. But Max's stance didn't change, unwavering and resolute. Emma stood calmly by, her small fingers buried in Max's fur, her eyes locked on Jack. Jack's bravado faltered for a moment. What he didn't know was that Max was no ordinary dog. Max had been through combat, had served 3 tours in Afghanistan, detecting explosives, taking down insurgents, and protecting his handler at all costs. And now, standing in front of Emma, Max's only mission was to keep her safe. The tension in the air was thick. The bikers circled restlessly, like sharks sensing blood in the water. Frank Miller stood at the door of the convenience store, shotgun in hand but not raised, watching the standoff. Then, just as things seemed ready to escalate, Emma's father, Thomas, arrived. His pickup truck skidded into the gravel lot, his military-trained mind taking in the situation in a split second. He got out of the truck with calm precision, but beneath his controlled demeanor, his heart was racing. "Emma!" he called, his voice even, but there was a storm behind his eyes. Max held his position, still protective of Emma as Thomas moved toward them. Frank Miller gave a small nod, his grip on the shotgun relaxing just a little, though he didn't let it go. Jack Collins, who had been sizing up Thomas, smirked. "Seems your dog doesn't like friendly conversation," he commented, his tone dripping with sarcasm. Thomas stepped up beside Emma and Max, placing a hand on Emma's shoulder. "Max is very friendly," he replied coolly. "To friendly people." The words were simple but firm, and they held weight. Frank, still standing in the doorway, cleared his throat. "Just explaining to these gentlemen that we're closing up for the evening," he said, trying to break the tension. Jack laughed, his voice dark and low. "Kind of early, ain't it? Sun still high." His eyes narrowed as he studied Thomas. Recognition dawned. "You're that security consultant, the Marine." It wasn't a question but a statement, as if he had just pieced the puzzle together. "Didn't realize you brought a military dog with you." Thomas didn't flinch. "My daughter's dog," he corrected. "And we're just getting gas. Same as anyone." The other bikers were growing restless, their movements shifting. One of them knocked over a display of windshield washer fluid. The containers scattered across the pavement, blue liquid spreading like spilled blood. "Oops," the biker called out, the mock concern in his voice obvious. Thomas didn't react to the provocation, but Max's ears flattened, and his body shifted slightly, tracking the new movement. His focus never wavered from the bikers. Jack, his attention still on Thomas, took a deep breath, his voice adopting an almost instructive tone. "Here's the thing. Riverside Junction has certain ways of doing business, certain understandings," he said, gesturing broadly to the gas station. "Frank here is still learning about those understandings." Thomas stood firm, not reacting to the implied threat. "We're not interested in your understandings." Jack looked back at his gang, then at Thomas. "Protection costs money," he said. "But it's worth it. You don't want to know what happens to folks who don't pay." Emma's eyes remained fixed on Jack's face, unblinking. There was something in her gaze that unsettled him, a quiet strength that caught him off guard. Jack shifted his weight, stepping back slightly. Before the standoff could go any further, a truck engine rumbled in the distance. Thomas looked up and saw the familiar shape of his truck coming toward them. The sight of it, the sight of Thomas, the military man who had survived war zones and lost loved ones, brought a shift in the air. Emma's expression didn't change, but her posture relaxed just a little. Frank Miller stepped forward, his voice now carrying more weight. "They've been pressuring businesses for protection money for months now," he explained quietly. "Most folks pay up just to avoid trouble. But someone's got to say no." Thomas studied the situation, his mind already working on strategies, calculating his next steps. But then something changed. Max's posture shifted as he sensed something else, something familiar. The dog's eyes moved toward Thomas, alert but calm. "Max," Thomas said, his voice low. The dog stood firm, still ready but not aggressive. The biker gang had found someone who would stand up to them. What had started as a simple confrontation between a biker and a little girl with her service dog had now turned into something bigger. A message. Riverside Junction wasn't going to be intimidated. And as Thomas's eyes met Jack's, there was no fear in his gaze. Only resolve. This was just the beginning. In the days that followed, Riverside Junction began to change in ways no one could have anticipated. What had started as a small town gripped by fear and uncertainty had transformed into a place of resilience, unity, and unexpected strength. The people who had once stood apart now stood together, ready to defend not just their homes but each other. Max, though still healing from his injuries, became a symbol of that strength. His presence in the community was a reminder of what loyalty, courage, and love could achieve, even in the face of overwhelming odds. He wasn't just a dog. He was the guardian of the town, the thread that connected each person in a bond that could not be broken. Thomas, once a man burdened by his past, found his purpose again, not just as a protector of his daughter but as a leader who could help guide his town through its darkest hours. And Emma, the quiet girl who had once retreated from the world, found her voice again, speaking not only to Max but also to those who needed to hear her message of hope and healing. The people of Riverside Junction, inspired by Emma's quiet bravery and Max's unwavering protection, began to rebuild, not just their town but their belief in the power of community. They turned their fear into action, organizing defenses, supporting each other, and refusing to let their town be defined by intimidation. Even Frank Miller, the gas station owner who had once felt so lost in his shame, found redemption. His gesture of donating the land where his gas station once stood marked a new beginning for the town, a place of healing and transformation, a place where the past didn't define them, but their ability to come together did. As the years passed, Riverside Junction continued to thrive. The community center, once a dream, was now a hub for connection, growth, and healing. The Veteran Support Program, with Max as the cornerstone, helped others navigate the struggles of post-traumatic stress, and Emma's courage inspired more than just the children of the town. But the story of Riverside Junction wasn't just about overcoming fear. It was about the power of forgiveness, the strength found in unlikely friendships, and the understanding that redemption is possible for everyone, even those who have made mistakes. And so, as the town continued to grow stronger, it became clear that their greatest asset wasn't their defenses or their plans. It was the bond they had forged, the love and loyalty that had turned their lives around. Riverside Junction wasn't just surviving anymore. They were thriving, a community united by the lessons of their past and the strength of their future. If you've been moved by this story of resilience and hope, don't forget to like, share, and leave a comment below. Share your thoughts with us, and tell us how you've seen acts of kindness transform your own community. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to Acts of Kindness Stories and help us reach 10,000 subscribers. Your support means everything, and together we can continue to spread these powerful stories of courage and compassion. Thank you for watching, and remember, no matter the challenges, we always have the power to protect what we love and to stand together in the face of adversity.